Good evening, Matthew.
Evening, Treb. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I am able to hear the vocal transmission very well.
Very well. How are you today?
I am doing very well, and how are you doing in this late evening?
Quite happy. The moon's shining brightly in the sky. Quite enjoying myself sitting in the back garden. What can we talk about today? Here's a question for you. Would you say being right-handed, you're more in the collective, and if you're left-handed, you're more attuned with your own singular self?
With this idea, this is very specific for each entity, but if you are looking at the overall idea, the right-handed entities tend to be more in sync to the ideas of the mind function of what you would call rationality, or playing into a mindset that is very mindful and not emotional or artistic or drawing from the great imagination or artistic ability within an entity, as the left-handed is the opposite.
Would you say what would happen to the most? Mine alternates every couple of hours, so right-handed, left-handed, things like that. What would you say? That's I'm quite happy about it, but it's a little bit hard to draw with because my hand changes every time I'm drawing or I'm writing. Is this indicative of a certain development I'm going through?
Yes, this is what you would say to be integration of the consciousness within the physical body. This allows more flexibility with very specific ideas of physical attunement to the consciousness integration.
Would you say you have a hand preference?
No, within our hands, they are used very equally.
How could one then, I don't know, develop a method to accelerate that equalization?
Within the idea of connecting in a physical activity, in the activity that you are doing, to not see one hand as dominant or less great than the other, or not to see one greater, just to use the mental aspect of this along with the physical aspect of using both in a more equal way, and as it is practiced, it is more ingrained into the physical brain, which is used as a computer.
That's right, yeah. I could do drawing or playing the piano in two hands. Here's an idea for us today. Look at me now like I'm a car and you're a mechanic, and just give us an overview of like how this car is functioning at the moment. As it were, lift up the bonnet and see how it's getting on.
Yes, for this idea, perhaps it would be great to connect to the energy with your permission.
Yeah, that's fine. What should I do at my end?
Just to close the eyes and to place an intent within energy being pushed out to the greatest maximum size, quality, and quantity that you are able to. Yes, if you are looking at the idea of using a car analogy, then we will stay within this. The engine that you have is running very fine. It is running as it should be, and this is the overall self. And as it is within the spark plugs, which is reaching from one area to the next to ignite the complete existence, there is interruption with this at specific points, because there is a lack of willingness to connect outwardly to other entities who are connecting to you, other entities who wish to be a part of your existence, and this lack of connection does not allow a proper idea. The oil within your car can be dirty at some times from what you would say to be unequal physical intake of the nutritional value, the way that you are intaking chemicals into the body. This can be slightly dirty, but in the most part, still very functionable. And within your exhaust, there is a quietness to it, which sometimes need to be magnified in magnitude within the voice that you carry, the ability to express yourself in your heart and in the words from your heart to other entities as well.
Well, I feel I'm a very bubble mentality. I like a bubble surrounding me and being in my own world, as it were, and I find it difficult to go out and about, go to the shops and get on buses because I don't like this bubble being burst. I find it difficult to have that. So, what metaphor could one use to meditate on the idea of integration between the inner and the outer? Because I'm very much in the inner. I love the inner world, but I've obviously got to function in the outer world. But a method then to balance them two.
It is not the idea of changing the specific environment. It is just to expand the bubble until it reaches more of the outside world, and then now this outside world becomes integrated with you, as it was seen to be separate. But now it is within the same existence and the same comfort level that you are existing within.
Treb, when one has a dream of a night and they're conscious of the dreaming, and then they become able to change the dream at any desire they have, and then they have dreams of a night where this is impossible, they get caught up in the drama of the dream. What's happening in them two different dreams where one will enter a dream reality and then believe it to be real? Why do I do that every night instead of realizing that I'm dreaming?
Within the existence of the difference of these two, the entity who is very aware and is able to make moves and changes within this reality, within this dream existence, there is more of the soul that is leaving the physical body. There is more soul that is out and being able to use, to manifest. And there is also a very conscious awareness to the soul. So it is specific strings that are being connected from the physical body outward in the one string that is the most important, even not considering the idea of amount of consciousness, but the one string specifically is a string that is meant to have a more full understanding of this non-physical existence, of the afterlife existence. And when the string is connected from the physical to the non-physical, it gives you the sensation that you are able to break free of the physical into this non-physical. On the other end of this, the one who is experiencing no realness to the dream or no ability to change the momentum of this, this is where less of the consciousness has left the physical body, and this string that is able to connect the ideas of moving around or having lucidity, if you will, is non-existent within this area.
That's nice. Do you know the symbol of Vesica Pisces? Do you understand what that is?
I am not sure of this specific word. It is understood that it is a word, but not sure of the idea or definition of this.
It's a Latin word. Say you have two circles and you bring them together, they create a shape within the two when the two circles cross over. That's a Vesica Pisces. So say for instance I'm one circle and the culture is another circle. When I create a Vesica Pisces, that means I sort of overlap them and they overlap me, and then we can have an integration and an interaction. I now say the Vesica Pisces is split, whereby I am now just my own circle and I'm no longer inbound by the culture or by other people. And this is a freedom when I return back to myself. And I feel this is more of me, but at the same time, I don't understand. I don't know where I'm getting on this. I just feel this is an acceleration. Let me just move on to one other subject.
Yes!
I now say there is no reality, or reality does not exist. Whereby before I was saying there's a multiple realities, there's an infinite amount. By saying there is no reality, what is allowing this in my consciousness when I'm no longer bothered about the external environment or anything? I just exist. I don't know what I'm happening to me, but when I say there is no reality, I'm just completely relaxed and at peace. How is that then? What's your opinion of that?
Within what you say to be a full, integrated into your own circle and not into the collective, being able to have your own existence, when you are believing that there is no existence, when your mindset goes to this area, this is the lack of connection to other entities. Because in your physical existence, you experience more portions of your own consciousness through the relationships and connections, not only to individuals, but also collective consciousnesses. This is what helps push the envelope, if you will, pushing the edge of every situation, so that you are able to push oneself, but within your own existence, not connecting to these outside or what you see to be outside influences. There is nothing that is pushing you. It is only your own self, so you are able to be at peace. So this belief is one of great comfort to you, because this pushing from the outside, or even when it is a connection of the two circles, as you have spoke of, where it is slightly touching, this gives you no push, and it makes you very, very grateful to have your own existence in this way.
But that seems enough for me, because my own existence is all existence, so there's no need to reach towards anything, because that would then conceive of the notion that something else is different to me or separate to me when everything is me. So this return back to the singular circle would represent the return back to everything at once. It feels like a more advanced state than mixing, because in order to mix, there must first have the idea that there's something else to mix to, when there isn't anything else. Everything is a part of me.
Yes, this is a very true idea, but also within this idea as well, when you are seeing this aspect of yourself in this way, to not integrate, to connect to others as you see this, this is why the idea of being in this way is disconnected from you, because of the, let us say, subconscious fear that when you co-create an existence with other entities, that their co-creative ability, if you will not be that to satisfy your own existence, because of the co-creation that you see to be faulted perhaps. But when you are able to experience this within yourself, this gives you a very perhaps slighted view of the way that you connect to others, because you have this understanding that this creation, that this existence is only within yourself, and that these entities are truly not existing.
They only exist within me, and they're reflections of me, like your reflection of me. So this doesn't create a feeling of loneliness or isolation. It actually creates a more of a feeling of closeness, because there's nothing closer than yourself. So if everything is yourself, then there's no need to integrate, because there's nothing to integrate anymore, because everything is already there within that circle. And this sort of feeling of just me, but at the same time I'm everything, so when it's just me, it's everything else as well. I realise that I am, and it's quite nice actually. I don't have to conceive of something other and then mix within it. I don't have to conceive of other. So that's the point. Does one necessarily always have to conceive of something else, or can one just be?
To be is a very great existence, to not have to look at the aspects or ideas of going to achieve anything, to be within a happy and satisfying state. This is very acceptable. This is your own reality as you understand, and you are able to choose all aspects. But many feel within a belief system that you must integrate and connect to others to be able to have what you think to be adversities, so that you are able to grow more. But within a comfort area, you feel that no more growth is needed. This will be a very great experience for you.
Well, I don't understand the concept of growth, because if I am, then existence can't grow any bigger. It can only just be what it is. Its size doesn't exist size exists within existence. Existence doesn't exist in size. So the concept of just being is everything at once. There's no need for any more growth. Growth is possibly just happening anyway. But this idea of growing beyond one's place, the place is already infinite. So there's no room to grow. It's already perfect. Although it's not really, there's no room to grow, but there's no place to get to, because you already are that place anyway.
Yes, and within this human idea of what growth is, it tends to be an idea gaining more knowledge, connection, becoming larger. But in fact, what true growth is more integration of the higher self or oversoul within your fractal in existence within this area.
Well, I still don't understand fractals at the moment. I understand the concept, but it doesn't reach me heart yet. What was my point? Like, you and I is the same thing in a sense. So what's, with all these densities and universes and all these things, what's the core principle? What's the thing which is, and everything else is an offshoot of it? What is Is it just existence, just the sense of awareness? Is that the only thing which exists?
There are many things that exist in all areas of existence of what you say to be physical reality, and this is love, the idea and sense of the Creator giving of Himself so that all may have existence. This is light in a physical sense as well as the idea of gaining wisdom. This is available in all areas of consciousness in every system in density. And there is also consciousness, and you cannot have the first two without the third.
Does consciousness manifest, or is it always? No, it's always there. But I always think that awareness is the first thing, because in order to be aware of anything else, you must first have awareness. So awareness is the only thing which truly exists. Everything else is just smoke and mirrors or an illusion. But awareness is obvious. Everything else is can change, and everything else is open to change. But awareness is unchangeable because you are always aware. What the thing you're aware of will change, but your awareness will never ever change. So I feel this is the core point, the balance point, the 0 point balance where everything is peaceful. But there's also a development and an acceleration and a yearning for more stimulation, as it were, but not a clutching for more, just adjust. I love that word, Treb, just. So awareness is the only thing which exists, nothing else does. Am I right on this from your perspective, or am I a bit off?
The idea of awareness being the only aspect, this is a very great way to see this, but within my own consciousness, I am always aware of this, and I am also aware of the idea of love, and I am also always aware of the light that is given, and these things can obviously be perceived as not there. Awareness can make you shift your views and perspective of these things. It can seem as if there is no love and is no light, but these are only perspectives that taint this. They are truly always there in every existence if you wish to experience them. Even within a more non-physical style of universes, ones that we would not see to be physical, within every system.
Alright, we'll say you look at a cloud in the sky and it looks like the shape of a choo-choo train. And one could say, oh, there's a choo-choo train in the sky, but it's not. There's no choo-choo train there. It's just what you are creating through your awareness of the chaos of existence. You're actually creating it yourself. There's no thing there. In fact, there's no cloud there. There's only the point of awareness exists. I'm going on too much, but I don't like the idea of something having inherent existence, because nothing does. Even love, it doesn't exist. Only awareness of love exists. There's not an external that you're aware of and you're perceiving. It's only perception. That's all it is. That's what the first thing was, just perception. And then it had to fold itself so it can perceive itself. So all I'm doing at the moment is perceiving me. So the only thing I'm confident on is perception. Everything else changes so quickly. I can't even say that it's there.
Yes, this is a very great idea as well, to be able to understand that awareness is the greatest attribute of all existences at all levels and all exists. Yes, this is very true as well.
Okay, well, am I missing out on something by being so what's the word I'm looking for? So core, in a sense. Alright, we talked about fractals before, so in a sense, yeah, everything does exist as well as a fractal, but that initial thing is awareness. Everything else is just an offshoot of that. Obviously, Treb, this existence, yours and mine, is a complicated thing, but there must be some sort of core or a certain 0 point where everything comes from, and that just the only thing I know that could come from is just what I'm aware of, which is awareness. I'm going on too much, but that's my idea.
Yes, this is a very great idea, and it is very true to all entities who experience the only one aspect that all may experience is awareness, and this is very true and very great link that connects all entities.
Yeah, that's it, Treb. That's what I wanted you to say. Something which connects us all, regardless of all the many different changes and all the different forms we come in. There is something which connects us all, and that is awareness. And then the concept of aliens doesn't really mean anything anymore, because it's just something else. Like even the person sitting in the room next to me is an alien, in a sense of someone sitting on another planet, an alien. But I just feel, Treb, that this state of mind, it just again, that word pops up. There's nothing I add on to the end of it. It just is, and there's a peacefulness, but at the same time, there's less fear. I don't know. I'm back in fear now. I'm back in the game, thinking about fearful things. Yeah, so I'm still bound by the collective. So how would we perceive the collective changing in the next 5 years or so?
Within the 5 year area, obviously it is well understood that the collective must act upon its own, and any idea may change the collective. But as of now, there are very many hundreds of probabilities that are equally valid. But the one that tends to be more great at this time tends to be the one of a gradual change within the next 3 years. And in this fourth year, it becomes slightly greater. And within the end of 9 years, it becomes very great. This is one of the highest probabilities. But the second highest probability is at the end of this year, in the time in which a specific wave of energy is going to come upon the area where you reside of the earth, that this specific wave will cause great changes in many individuals, which will then raise the collective consciousness to a very high degree. Well, so these are the two highest probabilities.
What is it that creates that sort of collective momentum? What is it that sparks that up, in a sense, where everybody sort of senses it themselves and then they start to act differently?
It is truly what you would say to be an energetic wave of non-physical proportion that is given by the entity who resides in the center of your galaxy. This gives out its own energy of change, its own energy in a physical manifested form of evolution. And as it gives out its own energy, it interacts with all smaller, or what you'd see to be smaller, portions of consciousness in the ninth and in the eighth and seventh density non-physically, which then in turn manifests itself back into this physical reality.
Well, that's the thing about, you say, fractals, like everything interacts with everything else and adds to everything else. I can get that on a certain level, but then that thing in the center of the galaxy, an amoeba, is basically the same thing. So I'm just trying to find commonalities between the big and the small, so I'm not so overwhelmed by people and fucking spaceships and all that stuff, and find that commonality. What would you say your and my commonality is?
That we are both great entities who reside amongst this galaxy and who are willing to connect out to other entities in some ways to gain experience, and also to be able to experience all that is in our own individual way, and not worry how this is affecting others, because it is our existence to have.
Yes, it's our existence, exactly. It's our existence. Any difficulties you've had to learn over your lifetimes? Any sort of any holes you've had to dig yourself out
of? Within the idea of digging out of holes, compared to a human perspective, it is not close to the equivalent of some of the holes that can be dug by humans. But within the existence, seeing adversity and playing into balances, there has been many of these. A great portion of our consciousness on the planet as a collective is becoming more balanced, as it has a slight imbalance in the way of specific entities perceiving one aspect of our overall. And this is what you would say to be difference in age and perspective and idealism. And as each one of these entities choose to leave physical existence, then we are gaining more of a balance. As they are leaving with the old ideas, then our balance is becoming more greatly balanced. And this is an adversity in many ways.
How could one live this existence, which is obviously based upon the idea of learning and growth, but not seeing it so much as a school where one waits for graduation? Because even you at your level is still learning things, and even at someone at a different level is learning things. But I always see it as like, when am I going to know it all? Obviously, I'm not capable of knowing it all, because I am all, so I can't know it all, because that's the second stage. I'm just being all. But does everybody that you've met and encountered are still learning?
Yes, in physical reality, yes, because this is what physical reality is to gain experience, and we do not fully connect into every aspect of what we are until we become in our non-physical state. There are ways to be less resistant, to connect to issues that we feel are important, and a knowledge that we wish to attain. And in this aspect, then we are able to connect to all that is now. We are able to experience the higher self, which in our realities seems to be all that is, because they are able to connect to the ones that are higher than them and keep on going through until it is back in the Creator. And this aspect is truly connecting to all. So it is a way to do this in experience-wise, but it is still a process of learning.
What's your idea of this creator thing? Because I don't understand this creator. It's not an external creator. I don't understand that. Because obviously I'm the creator, you're the creator. I don't understand. Obviously, when you talk about fractals, we're fractal versions of it, but at the same time, a fractal is it's got everything within that fractal of everything else. So what's your concept of this creator?
The idea of the Creator that our race is seeing as is a large force of energy that has broken itself down. We do not see it as a specific over personality. We do not see it as a separate entity. We see it becoming every single portion of its own fractalism. So as you look down, you are able to see the levels downward, but this is also working in the same way upward.
Well, does that creator wasn't that created by something else and then something else and something else?
There are many races who believe that the Creator is one amongst many creators, but to be able to see this Creator at the same level of consciousness that we are given, it is not probable to see in an eye-to-eye way with this understanding of fullism, but we are able to experience great portions of this. Once we achieve what you would say to be 12th density feeding in from our 11th density entity, then we will be able to see the greatest aspect of the Creator as we are.
But Treb, you understand there's no such thing as measurement. So when you say great or creator, that's a measurement of something, and there's no measurements because everything's the same size. It's called existence. I just don't like this idea of something being bigger than me because I'm infinite. So obviously nothing can be bigger than me. So I don't understand this. Nothing in this universe is bigger than me. No, there's no thing higher or lower than me. They're just like me. That's the size we are. We're just.
Yes, when you are seeing it in this way, it is a very great comprehension of this. But as you see it in a more structured layer, the existence that we are in has many definitions and many rules, and within these rules there is ideas of what separation is, but these separations are truly illusions, and this is very great of you to see this.
Oh yeah, but we can enjoy the illusions just like we do with television and films. We can still enjoy the illusions as long as we still recognise the illusions. Like for instance, I watch a film, Star Wars, I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yes!
It's puppets and bits of plastic for spaceships, but so what? You just create it in your own imagination that it's real, and then you get the stimulation, you get the feedback from it. But you never fall in love with it too much and imagine that it's actually inherently existent. You know that it's just smoke and mirrors, but that doesn't take away the excitement you can get from it, and the joy, and the love, and the happiness. But as long as one doesn't actually make it real, because even the nightmares are not real either. Even the horror films aren't real. So on that level, that's why it's quite rewarding to be in this same state of mind, because nothing is real, but at the same time it can still be enjoyed and experienced and whatever, relished, as long as one doesn't fall for it. And that's the problem I experience with some human beings, is the capability of them to say that things are, and I need to see it the way they see it because things actually exist. And it's like, no, they don't. You're just making it up as you go along. So am I. And that's where I fall short with the connection with others, because they don't actually discuss their life like a dream. They actually discuss it like it's actually real. And it's like, I can't talk to you anymore. But that's another story. What do you want to talk about now? So what's your development going like at the moment?
In what way do you mean this idea?
Well, when was the last time you had angry thoughts and things of that nature? Hatred and things of that type?
The idea of hatred and anger, perhaps hatred and anger being divided into two separate ideas. For the hatred, it has been within our third density, early version of our third density, and for anger and frustration, it is in the middle of the fourth density. But after the fourth density, there is a completion of understanding of the heart chakra area, as you would see this, or as you would call this, a complete connection to a full degree of unconditional love. So now that we are in this aspect of our evolution, the anger, the frustration, the hatred, all of these ideas are very far removed from who we are.
And how does that make you feel? You feel you've lost anything by that, or?
No, we feel that we have gained very great much deal from this. We are able to experience another entity who does not see things in the same way that we do, and there is no judgment, there is no anger, there is no frustration, there is nothing that has to be done about this idea. We are able to exist in harmony with all entities around us because of this.
Alright, I'm just looking for something, Treb. I'll be 2 seconds. I've got to find me lighter.
Yes!
Thanks, mate. There's a bloody hell's that Matthew? Check. I'll be. Hang on, is it in my pocket? Yeah. I'll be back in a moment. Hang on.
Yes!
Thank you. Hello, I'm back again.
Yes!
Yes. Why'd you say yes at the beginning of every sentence?
It is not the beginning of all sentences, but it is the idea of what the English language, affirmation to an affirmative answer.
Yeah.
So this is very well used.
It's nice. My mother likes this. She always smiles when she hears your voice and you say that. It's quite a nice thing to say, actually. As you say, it just kicks up the positive at the beginning of the sentence, something like that.
Yes! Yes! It is very great to have done this at the same time.
Oh yeah, it's always nice. Yes, quite rewarding. Would you say that tips over into the positive too much, or is it? Oh well, as we said last time, you're a neutral type, aren't you? You like neutrality more than positivity.
Yes, it is not that the preference is neutrality. It is more neutral views on other entities and what they are doing. But there is an idea of positivity within that is similarly integrated into our experience. So it is of a positivity in one way, but it is not that of a polar balance. It is a separation from disconnection in the fullest way that we are able to experience this.
I always feel that neutrality is more positive than positivity because it actually tolerates negativity. So obviously it's more positive. It's more integrative than positivity. Because I had a friend a while ago who's a very positive person, very charitable, very loving, but he needed a religion. He needed guidelines to tell him, good things and to keep away from bad things, and that's to me separation. And I'm neutral. Like obviously I'm both. I don't like negativity, as you said, Treb, because it's very easy to fall in love with negativity. It can lie to you and make you feel that it's giving you strength. It's like, oh, sod everybody and I'll make my money and, as long as I'm safe. But that won't keep you alive because you need other people. But if you're too positive and too nice, then you'll forget your own needs as well. So neutrality has got my vote. I like neutrality.
Yes.
What's your view? Have you met any people in our galaxy which have been overly positive and found any failures in that regard?
If you mean in the aspects of being very accepting and open and loving, yes, there has been many entities. Even within our own race, we tend to see a degree of differences of how perhaps excitable one entity will be from the next. Yes.
That's a way to play. You can do anything you want, but I just feel you're missing out on something there. You're missing out on the full picture. You're just seeing the light instead of the shadow. And I don't know. I feel I'm just proud of myself, actually, Trev, that I'm in neutrality, because it's not an easy thing. It's easy to lean. It's not easy to stand. So you can lean on a wall, either wall, the left or the right, but to stand in the middle for your own strength, I think that's a nice thing. Trev,
Yes.
could you talk more about my core soul, as it were, or my true soul? Because I'd like to know who that is, as it were. Because I know Matthew, but what's my actual soul?
Um, in the idea of what your oversoul is in a
Mm.
connection, it is exactly as you are now, but there is more added to this. As you see all of the fractals, all of the past experiences, all of the probable future experiences, all of these integrate into one. So there is experiences of complete negativity,
Mm.
sorrow, despair, and there is complete happiness and very excitedness. So all of these are very great, and all of them are very valid, and all of these are a true part of what you are. But when you gain more perspective from the portion of being a full oversoul, then you will experience this connection to what you see as oneness. So there is no judgment that is placed upon these aspects within yourself. As when you are a human, or even a fourth density, or perhaps fifth and sixth density, you will always place judgments among specific ideas.
Yeah.
Even if you are not judging in a direct way, there is still always the aspects of what you prefer and what you do not prefer. But the soul does not have a preference, as you have spoken of the idea of the neutrality standing directly in the middle. This is very much as your oversoul is.
Oh, that's nice. That's what I like. Is it male or female, or is it both?
It
Because
is
I'm.
both and it is neither.
Oh, is it both and neither? That's a paradox. I'm not very male at the moment. I'm a bit of a girl. Feel very soft into the hard. I'm not a bit of a. My masculinity is not really where it should be. I yearn back for it. The idea of focus. I've got too much. No, I think I am masculine. Actually, I'm not really that bothered. Where are we up to now? So, in a sense of ice, water, and steam, are you no longer ice and you're more water?
Within what aspect
Hmm.
are you meaning?
And the consciousness level, is your perception more water-like because you're more fluid in your ability to see things, and a third density person will be more ice-like and formed and structured, and then higher densities will be like steam.
Yes, this is a very great analogy as you are using this. It is more fluid, more adaptable to specific ideas. When you are going into the sixth density, this is perhaps more freedom in your experience and ability to integrate the knowledge with the love and to connect, but it is still limited in specific ways. To break down the full consciousness of an entity within this sixth density is not done quietly as often, especially in that of the type 1 entities. So it can become limiting in this way, as this is one aspect of the fifth density that I enjoy very greatly, to be able to connect to 12, 15 to 20 entities at once and still be able to manifest my physical body. I enjoy this ability to break my consciousness into smaller aspects so that I may experience more at one time. And the sixth density is more ability is not in this way, but it is still experiencing great amounts because of the amount of time that they are spending in physical existence, plus the ability to connect to higher amounts of knowledge and understanding in specific ideas.
Does sixth density lose out on what fifth density has? Much like a third density existence doesn't live like a second density animal life, and the animal life is doing things which I can't do. So when you go up a density, do you lose anything?
There is no idea of losing, but again, this is an idea of specific fractals within each environment. One specific portion of consciousness is very different from the next, so it is an idea of living that existence in the way it should be experienced or the way you wish to experience it. And there is differences within every fractal or every existence that you are in within the oversoul. So it is not easy to compare these ideas, but within a fifth density area, there are ideas of things that are able to be done that are not within the fourth and thirds and seconds, but also these ideas of what cannot be done are not truly detriments to us, but tend to be more useful and helpful.
But every fractal has the capability of being everything at once, so it doesn't really matter what density you're in, you can always connect back into that infinity. That's what I like about the idea of an amoeba. It's just as equally as infinite as I am, or you are, or other people doing other things in this universe. So there's no feeling of this. Because what I pick up sometimes, Treb, is when I hear other sessions with you, this looking up to you. I don't get this. Like one day if I meet you, it'd be nice, have a conversation on a cup of tea. But this idea of looking up to someone because they're in a higher density, I never understand that, because you exist, I exist, that's it. It doesn't matter what density you're in, you have the same thing as me called awareness of self. And on that level, we're equal. And I just hope other people get to that stage where there's less looking up, because there's one thing this planet does wrong. You look up too much to people, politicians, royalty, parents. And
Yes!
Well, what's your civilization like at the moment in regard to that? You don't have any figureheads or anything of that nature?
No, each individual is making their own decisions and a part of a greater collective. If there is an idea of adversity, then there are entities who tend to be older, who are consulted with, but this is not told what to do. It is much as if you are looking at an entity who is older than you in a similar experience, who has more experience to offer you a solution. So this is done within our planet, but every entity runs as its own individual existence, but also collectively it tends to work itself out very greatly, because the idea of synchronicity is being played out to its fullest identity there. And the correct aspect of what you are saying for the idea of looking up to entities, this is not a very useful idea when you are looking up to entities, as they are similar to you, and this is why it has been expressed through the entity that you know as Aridif, within the time that he has first spoke to humanity, expressing this idea in itself to not look up to him, that he is equal to you, and only your perception makes him greater than you, that physically you are different, but energetically, emotionally, in the idea of perception, you are all connected. You are all the same. Yes.
But when we're all the same, that doesn't divorce us from the capability of uniqueness. We can all be the same as a sense of I don't know what the same means, but we're all unique. So that never, what I'm trying to share is life will never run out of interesting things to experience. It won't, will it, Treb? Tell me it won't.
Yes, this is not true. It will not run out, as you have expressed, unless you allow yourself to perceive that it has.
I don't think I'm capable of doing that, because it's always going to. I'm always going to share more things with me. I can never completely get bored. I can never, like, for instance, people which are in the negative and dark and they can't find a way out and all this. They always will. It's an infinite amount of time, so they'll always find a way out. So everything's fine. I'm just saying, like, the collective at the moment, there's a lot of people in my life, and they don't seem to experience the same degree of internal confidence as I feel. They have this sense of, I don't know, the answer's outside of them, and they have to go and get it first. And I get frustrated with them, because I just want them to be happy. And if they're not happy, to go away from me. Now, that's a little bit bad, but are you saying at the moment that there's going to be an exodus in the idea that there's a lot of the collective which are going to leave my reality because I'm no longer in the same wavelength as them?
Yes, within this aspect, if you continue to go into one way energetically, they will not be able to connect you unless there is a mutual idea of why it needs to be connected. If you need adversity, if they need a teacher, if you agree to co-create, then you will experience. But most entities who you become on such a different level of vibration, this is the only way you can experience them. Is the agreement or co-creation beneficial?
Well, I don't think I need adversity anymore to learn more about me. It has been helpful to have adversity, to have a versus mentality, and then gain more awareness of myself. But at the moment, I don't know. I just exist. That'll do me. Well, let's finish it now, Treb, but I'll leave a question for you for me. So, any question you have for this little human being?
Yes, within your dream state as you go through,
Oh, yeah.
as you connect to other aspects of your own consciousness, what has been the single most greatest, most important, or most profound experience that you have had within your sleep state that you have been able to recall?
Well, there was a dream a while ago where there was a big flood and it washed away buildings and things like this, and we had to reach higher ground to get out of this flood. And there was a gentleman in it called Alex Jones, which does a lot of this conspiracy theorist thing on the web, and he came up to me on this higher level. So I think subconsciously I was telling myself that if you stay down there, Matthew, you will get overwhelmed by the currents, but you can always just go up, and these things don't have to affect you anymore. You don't have to be you don't have to go down. And this is what Alex Jones does as a character on the web. He sort of tries to lower your frequency into fear, and we've got to defend ourselves, and there's a war going on and all that. It's like, yeah, there's a war going on at that level, but if you go up a level, it doesn't affect you anymore. The water only affects you if you're low down. If you go up to the mountaintop, it doesn't matter if the water's rushing in, it doesn't affect you. That's what I gained from it anyway.
Yes.
Okay, well, Treb, thanks again for this interaction. I've learned about myself, and I enjoy talking to you. I hope you gain from it, Treb, because I talk a lot, but that's me.
Yes, I am able to gain a great amount. Is it acceptable for one last question for me to ask
yeah,
you?
Please do, sir.
Within this experience of the dream state that you have, this is the most profound lesson to be learned within all of the dream states that you recall?
No, not that I recall. There may be something there under the subconscious level, but I can't access it right now. Would you be able to know what that could be, actually?
Within your own, with the amount of consciousness that I have at this time, to look through the complete dream state history of the human existence would be very difficult. But it was a question to enhance the idea, to be able to search deeper into these aspects of your sleep state, as it tends to be very strong in your presence, that this is very important to look into.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Well, I'll treat my dream state like, I don't know, I'll treat them like a school, and then I'll see what lessons I can gain from them and try and recollect them all. Alright, well, I'll see you next week then, Treb, as time exists for me. And thanks again for your existence, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, I will see you also very soon, and it has been a great pleasure, again, to connect to you, and it is very well appreciated. And with this being expressed, I will leave you this evening in love and light, and we will speak and connect again very soon.
Thanks, mate. Alright, love you.
I love you as well, and good night.
Hey.